Hello, I'm Dr. Stacey Ote Scott here with another episode of Stress Less with Dr. SOS. Germs and viruses aren't the only things that are contagious, so are behaviors. Today I want to talk about anxiety and a concept called behavioral contagion. While mental health disorders are not contagious, emotions and attitudes certainly can be. And while we all consider what we can do to stay physically healthy and safe, we also need to consider how to stay well mentally and emotionally. Behavioral contagion, or social contagion, is a type of social influence. It's a psychological concept based on the contagion theory, which suggests that behavior patterns, attitudes, and emotions can be spread from person to person or group to group through suggestion or imitation, and these behaviors and attitudes can be positive or negative. The truth is, we're all familiar with behavioral contagion. How? Check out this image. Did you catch it? Okay, let's try again. Did you catch it this time? When you saw the baby smiling and cooing, what did you do? Smiled back, right? It was almost an automatic response that occurred without you even putting too much thought into it. What about this? Yep. When someone yawns, it can trigger a desire in those around them to yawn. So why is this theory so important right now? Primarily because we're all likely experiencing some form of anxiety related to the uncertainty of what's going on in the world. Some of us are stressed because of health concerns, while others are anxious about our jobs. Some of us are feeling the impact of isolation and loneliness, while others are worried about our finances. Regardless of your source of stress, it's pretty normal that our anxiety levels are a bit high and our distress tolerance might be a little low given all that we're experiencing. So what can we do to manage some of our anxiety in light of our newfound understanding of behavioral contagion? I'm so glad you asked. While we're being encouraged to engage in social distancing in a very physical sense, we need to recognize when it might be time to engage in emotional distancing to protect and preserve our mental wellness. Let's take a common sense approach as we consider practical application. For example, if you recognize that every time you watch the news or hear your phone ping with a news update about world events, you find your chest tight and your head hurting afterward, try limiting how often you look at the news and silence those alerts. Do what works best for you by listening to your body. For some folks, catching the news every other day works well, while there are others of us who probably shouldn't check it out more than once or twice a week. And to flip the switch on this negative experience of behavioral contagion, let's take it one step further and actually look for positive news. Believe it or not, there is some out there. Just check out positive.news to get a good dose of what's going right in the world. Here's another suggestion. Pay attention to how you think and feel when interacting with friends, colleagues, and loved ones to determine who's good for your health versus who's a hazard to your health. There's a sign in my office that says, "Be a fountain, not a drain." And I think it's safe to say that all of us have experienced being around someone who can be a drain mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even spiritually. While being around these kinds of people can be challenging under normal circumstances, in stressful times, these people can be even more toxic. If you find yourself regularly walking away from a conversation with a particular person feeling worse than when you started, that person might be a drain, and you need to be mindful of limiting your contact with him or her. Give yourself permission to limit the frequency and duration of your interactions with them. In other words, it's okay to let their call go to voicemail so you can pick and choose when it's best for you to respond. Want to flip the switch again? Make yourself a quick list of who you can reach out to that might bring a smile to your face or maybe even get you laughing. Then give them a call or shoot them a text and watch how quickly you catch a different attitude. My final suggestion is personal. Here lately, I've recognized that it can be a little difficult for me to watch some of the programs I used to enjoy. I was big on crime and medical dramas, but over the last few weeks, I started finding myself more anxious than usual after watching them, and sometimes not even being able to rest well. Before this newfound anxiety set in, I would regularly walk past my husband on the couch watching old reruns of The Rifleman and Gunsmoke and think, boring, who is this old man I'm married to? Now, guess who's bringing the popcorn and grabbing a blanket to find out what happened to Lucas McCain in the last episode of The Rifleman? Me! That's right. So if my husband is an old man, I must be his old lady. The bottom line is, I recognized in this season of stress, duress, confusion, and uncertainty, I don't need to invite anything remotely resembling chaos into my life, especially not as a form of entertainment while I try to relax. So my flip the switch has been to find forms of entertainment that are truly relaxing, reflecting on the good old days where the storyline surrounded a man and his horse, or maybe even a comedy that will really allow me to get in a good laugh and release some much needed mood elevating endorphins. So let's make mindful and intentional choices about who and what we surround ourselves with as we consider behavioral contagion, so we can be in position to catch those things that will allow us to remain well in this season in mind, body, and spirit. And as always, if you feel like you'd like to speak with someone at Summit directly, let us know. You can give us a call at Summit Wellness Center at the Mount at 757-312-9891 or email us at counseling@themountleads.org. Until next time, choose to live well.